Hello, I'm Simon Chaplin, or Socks Up Simon, and you're probably watching this video because you've seen me speak at a keynote presentation or at a workshop or a seminar that you attended recently. And I've prepared this video in order to help you take action and prioritise your action plans from the actions that you would have taken from seeing me speak. This is a tool that I've used for many years that's helped me take much more action than I know I would have done if I hadn't have used this tool. So the first thing you would have done is come up with a list of actions or an action planner. And here's one that I've drawn up as a sample. So the first thing on this action planner is to get a copy of Simon's book. And you can currently get a copy of that book for free if you go to www.socksupsimon.com and enter your name and email address, and I'll gladly email you a copy of that book. The second thing on the list is to book on one of Simon's events. Now, I'm currently running 3 events across the country. I've got an event in St Albans, well in between St Albans and Watford. I've got another event that I'm running on the junction of the M69 and M1 in between Leicester and Coventry. And then I've got a final event that I'm running in the north of England in between Manchester and Leeds. And I'll be more than delighted to see you at one of those 3 events. You could also suggest or come up with an action point of rewriting your business plan, and finally you could be starting team reviews or staff appraisals or whatever you want to call it. So the first thing you need to do is go through that list and write numbers against them. So in this case I've simply numbered them 1 to 4. You then need to get a clean sheet of paper and draw a box on it, like so, and then divide that box in half, both horizontally and vertically. And on the bottom axis you write the word cost, and that cost could either be money or could be time. And on the axis you put L for low and H for I. Down the left hand side you then write the word benefit. And this time it's the other way round. High is at the bottom and low is at the top. And then what you do is you go back to your action list, have a look at number 1, which says get Simon's book. Now Simon's book, if you go to the website, has a very low cost and quite a high return on investment because it's free, it's just a return on your time. So I would probably put number 1 here somewhere. And then go back and then we look, book on Simon's event. Now my event has a very low cost, and as it's only a day it has a very little time cost, but it has a massive benefit. You'll get much more benefit by coming on the event and listening to the information that I and everybody else on the event shares rather than reading the book on your own. So I would say low cost, high benefit. So I write a number 2 there. We then look at rewriting a business plan, which is a third. Now the business plan will take you a long time to write, but in my opinion will have quite a high benefit. So again, I would probably be putting number 3 here somewhere. And then the final thing was the team appraisals or start team reviews, which is number 4. Now that is going to have a very high benefit in my opinion, because talking to your team is something that you must do. But again, it's going to have a high cost in order to set that up and make sure that works properly, because if you just start team appraisals in a ad hoc manner, then eventually they'll stop working and the team will feel let down, etc, etc. So in order to do that properly, I would say it's got a high benefit but a fairly high cost, so I'll probably put that in here somewhere. Now, as you'll see, we've been quite selective in the action points that we've chosen to put on our action list. So we've got nothing with a low benefit and a low cost, or nothing with a high cost and a low benefit. So if you've got anything in this box here, my suggestion would be for you to delegate it to somebody else. Okay? The final thing that we do is start to draw arches or semicircles on the sheet of paper. And what this tells us is what action to do first. And as you'll see from here, number 2 is the closest to the junction between L and H. So number 2 is what you should do first. So renumber that number 1 and book onto Simon's event. The next one is number 1, so that becomes number 2. So go and get a copy of Simon's book from the website. Number 4 is the third closest. And the final one, number 3, is the fourth closest. So going through that exercise, you'll see that the first thing to do is book on my event. The second thing is to get my book. The third thing is to start team reviews. And the fourth thing is to write a business plan. Now obviously when you go through that exercise for yourself, you'll end up with different action points and different things that you should do first. But I hope that's given you an idea of how you can prioritise your action points in order to make sure that you do them in the most efficient manner. Now one thing I should point out is this looks at quick wins, quick cost benefit analysis. It doesn't look at projects that take a long time in the business, the things that sometimes have a high investment cost in time or money but ultimately have a high benefit. If you would like a tool, an exercise or something that I use in order to plan those, and they tend to work over a 12-week to a 12-month process, please email me on simon@socksupsimon.com and I'll gladly share a copy of how that works for you. So I hope you found this video inspiring. I hope you found some of the concepts challenging, and I hope this little video helps support you in taking action from what you've learnt from my keynote. So let's get started. Go on then, pull your socks up.